Okay, sorry about that. Welcome back to part two of the adverse weather conditions module. This is going to be the main part of the module. We started to discuss some different types of conditions in the last, in part one. Let's get straight on to part two. Mud. Remember, we were talking about slippery roads. Mud. Before you drive, communicate. You know, just communicate with other drivers or people you know have been out on the road recently. Also communicate with people like the office, the office, in the high school office, excuse me, to let them know that just keep communication constant. On your route, avoid the mud if at all possible. Obviously, anticipate it and look for it. If you cannot avoid the mud, first of all, if you are not too far in, stop and back up. If you are too far in, keep going. Keep your speed steady. Don't slow down. Keep your tires straight. Also, don't make quick corrections or overcorrections. Stay on the crest of the road and keep a firm grip on the steering wheel. The theory is that by continuing to move at a steady pace, you are floating on top of the mud and won't sink in. We'll see how good those theories work actually in practice, which hopefully will never happen. When you're through the mud, check your lights to make sure they're clean. Mudslides also may occur. If there's one clear lane, go around the mudslide as long as you can stay on the road. If you can't stay on the road, just find another route. That's basically it. Rain. We're going to cover sprinkles to heavy downpour. So rain. The first 10 minutes after light rain begins is the most dangerous, as rain mixes with the oil on the ground from other vehicles and new asphalt, or just asphalt in general. Oils on the ground from other motor vehicles. Obviously, you want all that oil to wash away. If it rains hard and long enough, the rain washes off the oil and slippery conditions are reduced. Hydroplaning can happen at speeds as low as 30 miles an hour. If there's a lot of water, you may not be able to steer and or brake. In severe rain, you should reduce your speed by at least half. A school bus will almost never hydroplane because of its weight. And of course, one reason why it might, in the off chance that it does, is if it is going too fast. So obviously, you want to reduce your speed by half before it even ever happens. Rain, more rain. Before you drive, check the weather report, obviously. Check your tires, tire pressure, and check for the wear on the tires. Another reason why a school bus might hydroplane is because there's little to no tire pressure, there's low air pressure in the tire, I should say. If the tires are worn, obviously report it to the office or Mr. Naito. Check that your windshield wipers are working properly. This is obviously very important in rain, just very important. Check the washer fluid for the windshield wipers, and check that window defrosters are working. Also, check your brakes. Avoid aggressive braking or steering. Turn on your headlights and all other warning lights. Obviously not the hazard lights, but all other indicative lights that you're there. Double the following distance, give other vehicles a lane, which is a defensive driving term. Giving other vehicles a lane means give them an extra, lane's worth if they need to be able to get out of a serious situation. And allow for space for oncoming traffic. Obviously, when you make that turn onto a road, it can be hard to speed up without hydroplaning, or even oncoming traffic. Obviously, traffic can splash water from puddles across the median and on the windshield of cars in your lane or even yourself. So more hydroplaning, more about hydroplaning, I should say. Don't use the brakes to slow down at first. First, you want to release the accelerator. It allows the wheels to turn freely. Your vehicle will start to slow down. Secondly, is to correct the steering to avoid lane departure, which, is nice. So do that. And then apply the brakes to get the vehicle's speed under hydroplaning speed. That's when you should use your brakes instead of first. Okay, moving on to ice. Ice is another slippery condition. Ice can come from sleet, freezing rain or drizzle, which is the same kind of thing, hail, ice fog, and melted rain or melted water that is frozen. Types of ice. Black ice. These are very important to know and how to deal with them. A very thin layer, and almost invisible layer, of ice that allows you to see the road underneath. So it basically leaves a shiny gloss on the top, on the road surface, but for the most part it doesn't look like anything is there. Glazed ice is freezing rain or ice fog. What you get, from freezing rain or ice fog. Melting ice, a layer of ice with water on top. Wet ice actually is much more slippery, than ice that is not wet. And lastly, frozen slush, snow that has started to melt and gotten very soft and then refrozen. This would be, like a slushy, to give you a common analogy. The result is obviously an uneven driving surface. Okay, more ice. If you suspect icing conditions, obviously slow down gradually. Avoid aggressive steering or braking. Turn on headlights and other warning lights. Stop, get out, check the road for yourself. Now, this is something that, you should always be doing in any type of adverse weather is stop, get out, and check the roads for yourself, just to see how slippery they are and whatnot. Double or triple following distance even. And run the defroster like nothing else. Next is snow. We're moving through this at quite a fast pace. Snow. So, different types of snow, which you're like, is there only one type of snow? There's many types of different snow. Snow flurries, snow showers, snow squalls, normal snowfall, lake effect snow. You may be asking yourself, what is lake effect snow? Lake effect snow is snow that falls downwind of the Great Lakes when a cold wind blows over the warmer water surface. Obviously, we live nowhere near the Great Lakes. However, you can still get some lake effect snow down here, believe it or not. Heavy snow, which is classified as 4 to 6 inches in 12 hours, or 6 inches or more in 24 hours. Blowing and drifting snow, obviously strong winds and poor visibility, and blizzards, which obviously you probably should not be driving in, period. Steady snowfall with blowing snow and sustained winds of 35 miles per hour or higher. Snow. Do a very careful pre-trip inspection. I want to keep reinforcing this beyond the moon. This is very important that everyone does this in any type of weather, but do a very, very careful pre-trip inspection. Check the windshield wipers and wiper fluid and defrosters and make sure they are all working properly. More snow. Slow down gradually. What to do if you encounter snow. Slow down gradually. Avoid aggressive braking or steering. Turn on all the warning lights and headlights. Check the road for yourself, obviously. Increase following distance. Give others a lane. And anticipate limited visibility. Also, beware of snow drifts. Now, little thing about snow drifts. A conventional bus may be able to go through a good-sized drift. Conventional meaning it's not, the engine's not beside you or in the rear. It is in front of you like a car. A Type D bus, so I call them flat noses because they don't have that nose that sticks out like a conventional bus. May not be able to go through snow drifts at all. Also, watch for hazards in the drift, such as chunks of ice or debris, that type of things. We're almost done with slippery roads. Other types of slippery roads include leaves or debris, and moisture from dew or rain on leaves or debris. So that is limited visibility slippery roads. Now we're moving on to limited visibility. Limited visibility. General rule of thumb. When visibility is impaired no matter what, turn on headlights, establish and maintain a safe following distance. If you need to stop, pull all the way off the traveled portion of the road onto a solid shoulder, a side road, or a parking lot. This is to ensure that nothing hits you. If you can't stop safely, proceed slowly until it is possible to stop, and follow the painted lines on the roadway, and also be sure to move students forward. This is to obviously keep everybody away from danger. So if you would get slammed into from behind, if your students are, if the kids are in the back of the bus, and something slams in hard from behind, they're going to feel more impact rather if they were in the front of the bus. Obviously, or not obviously, sound your horn even periodically if you have to. So, types of limited visibility. Fog. Driving tips include to turn on the strobe light, use low beam headlights and not high beam. This is very important because your first instinct might be to turn on the high beams, but in fog, you obviously want to use the lowest beams to your ground. As a matter of fact, if your bus has fog lights, use those as well, so that way you can keep an eye on the surface, and also high beams will create reflection and glare back into your eyes. Smoke. Driving tips. Don't expect that you will be able to drive right through it. Drive right through it. Do not enter smoke if you see it ahead. There is a danger of smoke inhalation and damage to the lungs. Obviously close all windows and vents to bring in fresh air, bring in fresh air. You can slowly drive by smaller fires. Obviously, we're talking about mainly fires here. You can slowly drive by smaller fires if you can see past them. If you can't see past them, that is, you just want to stop right there. Don't even try and continue, because if the smoke is that dense, it's probably not something you want to drive in. Dust, driving tips. Similar steps to smoke. Do not enter dust storms, as visibility can quickly be reduced to zero. Close all windows and vents that bring in fresh air. Pull off the pavement immediately. Obviously, this is to, keep other things from running into you. Turn on the strobe lights and hazard lights and all other warning lights, and set the emergency brake. So that's dust. Next is snow. Keep going if at all possible, since there's a danger of exposure to cold. If you have to stop where there's shelter. A gas station, or any type of place that has heat. Rain. Watch for flooding conditions, and if necessary, pull over carefully and under an overpass if possible. Now, if you're going down an interstate and you try and pull under an overpass, that can be a little dangerous. So just take that with a grain of salt, if you will. Sunlight. Sunlight, can sometimes be glaring right in your eyes. Always have sunglasses readily available. They help prevent glare by ensuring the interior and exterior of the windshield is clean. Help prevent glare by ensuring that the interior and exterior of the windshield is clean prior to a trip. That's all for sunlight. Now we move on to dusk, dawn, and dark. Dusk, dawn, or dark. Driving tips: always drive with your headlights on, dawn, day, dusk, or dark. Always do that. There should be no exception. Always use your lights, no matter if it's dawn, dusk, dark, daytime, plain as day. Always use your lights. Be aware of cars without lights on, or burnt out lights, and be aware of deer at dawn and dusk, because they can be running out in the middle of the road, and drive defensively along with that. Vehicle control problems. So there are multiple conditions where you could lose control of a vehicle or have trouble controlling it. Wind. Be aware of the strong gusts of wind by paying attention to the trees and tall grasses around the road and how they are responding to the wind. Obviously, keep a firm grip on the steering wheel and anticipate gusts, which may affect your steering. If needed, slow down or stop on a side road, parking lot, or solid shoulder area. Okay, extreme heat. Obviously, this is, not a vehicle control situation problem. Sorry. This is more in extreme temperatures now. Make sure the AC is working on the bus. Turn the fans on in the bus, and or open the windows and roof vents if that would sufficiently cool the bus. Obviously, if it's making the bus hotter, don't do it. Take water bottles or coolers with you for passengers. Now, obviously, if things get a little crazy, you can call for help from medical assistance. You want to be sure to first call the office, obviously, or the school, and notify them. More extreme heat. If students show symptoms of heat disorders, such as skin is sweaty and cold, or hot, dry, and red, person feels weak, person faints or vomits, apply wet cloths to armpits and back of neck, fan the student, and give sips of water only if able to swallow. Get medical attention immediately again. Contact the school emergency contact numbers listed in the vehicle folder. Now, extreme cold. Going on the opposite end of the spectrum. Warm the bus prior to the trip. This is obviously something you should always do to warm the bus up, but especially in extreme cold. Make sure you have a full tank prior to leaving. More a full tank than prior to leaving. Excuse me. You may need to leave the bus running during the activity. So there you go. If a diesel, which all of our buses are, take an extension cord so the bus can be plugged in during the activity, or just keep the bus running. Extreme cold, obviously make sure students have adequate clothing. In an emergency, call for help. Proper authorities and the school. Stay on the bus. Huddle the students rotating. Who is in the middle, which sounds like one of those things from like a horror movie or whatnot, but that helps. Have students keep their fingers, toes, arms, and legs moving, and gather resources such as clothes, blankets, water, food, etc., and make a distribution plan. Obviously, that's for very extreme temperatures, very extreme cold. If the engine is still running for heat, crack a window and run the rear exhaust fan. If you are stuck in the snow, periodically check that the snow has not accumulated around the exhaust fan or tailpipe. Just stuff for that. You should know where that stuff is. Watch for frostbite and hypothermia. Frostbite is the loss of feeling, white, pale appearance in any area of the body. Rewarm affected area slowly if there is no chance the area may refreeze. More extreme cold, hypothermia, which obviously can include shivering is the first symptom, then disorientation, slurred speech, and drowsiness. Warm the person slowly. Warm the body core first, so like their abdomen, not the extremities. Now, flooding and flash flooding. This is like catastrophic weather conditions. Watch for flooding conditions anytime there has been heavy rain or snow melt. Never go through water on the road, whether it is standing or moving. What to do? Stop is the first thing. Seek higher ground. Get away from the water. Call the school or authorities and request assistance. Now, lightning. We're almost there. Remember, it is safer inside the vehicle than outside, so stay on the bus. Have everyone stay away from the sides of the bus, just to ensure that extra level of protection. Tornado. Obviously something that can occur anywhere. Look out for dark, often greenish sky, a wall cloud, low spinning clouds, large hail, and a loud roar. What to do? First choice, drive at a right angle away from the tornado. So you don't want to be going towards the tornado. Second choice, evacuate to a building or shelter. And third and final choice, obviously this is worst case scenario, evacuate to a low-lying area, such as a ditch, but beware of flooding. Instruct students to lie flat on their stomachs with hands over the back of their heads to reduce neck injury. Move far away from the school bus. Obviously, if that tornado does come, you don't want the school bus to be flung in every which way and hit people. And last but not least, probably the most unpractical thing to experience in Nebraska, but it can happen, earthquake. Stop in a safe place off the roadway and in an open area away from structures and waterfronts. Keep students on the school bus, calm the students, and don't drive into a devastated area. And boom, we are done with adverse weather conditions and road conditions. Thanks for taking the time to participate in this module. We've got around about 2 more left, so we'll get those going, and then home free. Thanks for watching, and committing yourself to the level of excellence for safety for our students and athletes. Ow! Ooh. Who's winning tonight?
I found this on the web.
Who is winning in the NFL game tonight?
The Seahawks are beating the 49ers 14-10 with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
So Shrek Squad. Mm-hmm.